Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
All right, today's show brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. You can go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business insurance, they have it all. They'll do everything they can to save you money. Customer service means everything to them. And part of that may be bundles. They'll update policies. Customer service means everything to them. Everything, which is really, it's so important. And that's why they're the best in the business. It is Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. We're in the Sunbury Motors Studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. All right. Our play-by-play call of the day.
Get it in. Yep. Quinterly. Pass it off. Reese. Overtime. In Indy. Alex Reese, the clutch jumper. And we have got bonus basketball in this beautiful month.
Ian Eagle with the call last night on TBS. Alex Reese with the three. Here's the shock to that play. Quinterly gave the ball up. All right, so holy mackerel, he does not give the ball up. My goodness. But it's interesting that Reese hit the three because last season, Penn State played Alabama here. And you're trying to keep an eye on Petty. Yeah, Petty he's all right. Shackelford was, okay. Jones didn't really do much of anything in the game. And it's still like Kyra Lewis at that point, who ended up being a first-round pick. Say Kyra Lewis. So you're going through this. Dick and I are doing the scouting report before the game. Like, Lewis is an NBA talent. Petty's a really good shooter. Jones is tough inside, especially defensively. Shackelford has become an X factor for him. They were bringing him off the bench last year. And then we got to Reese, and they go, well, you know what? Reese is a good player, but, one thing, he's not really a great outside shooter, which he's not. And then he comes into the Penn State game, bang, bang, he starts hitting threes. Two of us are looking like, look, we looked at the tapes, we know. Well, that's the only shot he hit in the game last night, was that three. It was the only shot he hit in the game. Great shot. All right. The new head basketball coach of the Nittany Lions is Micah Shrewsberry. I had a chance to talk with him last Thursday and welcome him to Penn State and to Happy Valley.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited. It's been a great few days being here, and I couldn't wait to get here. And everything that I've heard has met and exceeded my expectations.
Obviously, when you're in a position that you have been in, with the career you have been in, the opportunity is going to open to be a head coach. You have to make a decision as to what is the right fit for you. In the end, why was Penn State the right fit for Micah Shrewsberry to become the head basketball coach?
I think it starts from, the top down. And, having the chance to talk with Dr. Barron, having the chance to talk with Sandy, Lynn, just everyone in the athletic administration that I met with and talked with, there was just a good feeling about it. I'm a people person, and this place is full of great people, and State College is full of great people, and that was really attractive to me. But you can also do things here that, be in a place that has great academics. You can get a great education here, but they also strive for excellence in a lot of different areas and a lot of sports. And that's what I want this program to be. I want a great student-athlete experience for our guys where, what they're doing and what they're learning off the court is matched by what they're doing on the court. And we want to compete, and we want to compete in the best league, and we want to be one of the last teams playing from this league.
Obviously, along the way, coaches have to move. I mean, you were obviously at Butler, Purdue, the Celtics, back to Purdue, which means Molly and the children have had to move, which means in the end they have to look around and say, yeah, we want to go to State College. What was the reaction like within the family when you had a chance to talk to Molly and your children about the opportunity to move here and do this job?
Yeah, this was definitely a family decision. And, but they were really excited. They know that, they've been a big part of this in every move that we've made. Molly's a rock star because she does the heavy lifting during these times when, I'm away and starting a new job, and she closes the chapter on the page, the book before, and now she helps to move on. So the kids were pumped as can be. And, it's a hard transition. My oldest son has moved, a lot of places, and now he's in his high school years, and halfway through his high school career, he's going to up and move to a new school. But he's excited. My other son is excited. My daughters, are great and loving, and I'm so happy for them to, come to a new campus to learn more, like be in this college environment, and that's a big part of us being so excited here. That there's so much to do here on this campus, but they're fired up. And if they weren't fired up, then that probably would be a negative for me. But they were fired up, and that makes this transition really easy.
It's interesting that James Franklin and you both have the experience of working at the highest level. James was with an iconic franchise with the Green Bay Packers at one point in his career. You obviously were with an iconic franchise with the Boston Celtics in your career for several seasons. At some point, you have to make a decision as to, what am I? Am I a pro coach or a college coach? What is it about you that makes you gravitate toward the college game, even though you did have a great experience in the pro game?
Yeah, it's a unique feeling, and I get that question all the time. It really comes down to I'm a relational guy, and here on the college campus, you get a chance to recruit a kid when he's 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and get to know he and his family, and now you get a chance to get the baton from that family and push him through his formative years of college and really send him off into the world and prepare him for that. But, you get a kick out of those guys coming back, those guys bringing their families back when they're older, pointing out the things where they lived, where they used to eat, their favorite spots on campus, pointing out the things that they've done, the banners that we hope to raise. Like, that's what I get a huge joy out of, and that's what I want to see, and that's what you get, at the college level. But I also want my kids to grow up, my boys got a chance to see guys at the highest level as basketball players. But being on the college campus, it allows them to see the highest level of educators, to see the highest level of scientists, to see the highest level of theater and art, dance, whatever it may be. And I want them to have that whole experience besides just basketball, besides just athletics, and you get that here on a college campus. And that's really important to me, and it's really important to me in recruiting. But I want to help, our guys experience that, but also give them my knowledge from the highest level of how to help them get there.
Micah, along the way, anybody that's successful in a business probably has a mentor or mentors that help them along the way. I could give you a list of 3 guys right away in my play-by-play career that to this day I still draw upon as mentors. Brad Stevens and Matt Painter obviously are 2 guys that fall into place for you. What did you pick? You have to be Micah Shrewsberry in the end. But what did you pick up along the way from Brad Stevens that you incorporate into what you do? What did you pick up from Matt Painter that you incorporate in how you go about your business?
You know what? The 2 of those guys are about as similar as it gets in personality style. But the major thing from those 2 is who they are as people. And that's, something that I've always done in my life, but something I want to emulate from those 2 is just how they treat people, how they go about their business every day, just striving to be the best that they can be, but also doing things the right way. And, Brad showed me, everything about how to really dig in and prepare for a season, how to prepare for an opponent. He's the best that I've ever been around in knowing everything about what we're going to do, knowing everything about the upcoming game, the upcoming situations, reading things 2 or 3 plays at a time. He prepares, and there's no stone unturned when he's preparing. And those are things that I've picked up from him. I was fortunate to work with him for 10 years. And I feel like, by osmosis, you should be able to learn that much from him. But, Matt Painter is like I owe a lot to Coach Painter. He brought me back to Purdue for 2 years, and he really kind of opened up the doors to the entire program and allowed me to see everything that he did, every decision that he would make, everything that went into running a successful program in this conference and across the country. And the stability that he has, the low ego that he has, he opened the doors and showed me what to do. He opened himself up and showed me the mistakes he made and talked about that. And, he tells me all the time, you don't have to go down the same path and make these same mistakes when somebody else has already made them. So being true to yourself, being true to your core and your gut, like those are huge things that I picked up from Coach Painter.
Following up on that, Micah, part of that low ego is he handed you the clipboard, okay, to draw offense as the offensive coordinator. So I'm going to do this in 2 parts here. You did a lot of defensive work for Brad with the Celtics, which meant you had to come up with defensive concepts against NBA offensive teams, which means you had to prepare for them. How much did that help you in coming up with offensive concepts on this level because you had to defend it on the next level?
It really helped a lot. Just being able to watch for 6 years, in Boston, you have a great feel for what your own team is doing. But then as you prepare more and more for other teams, you just get a chance to see what they do, what's successful. There's 30 great coaches in the NBA. And I would just fill notebooks upon notebooks of things that I saw, things that I liked, things that I thought could work at the NBA level that could transition to the college level. And, I just filled up notebooks, all that I could of things that, I thought would be a good fit. And now you move on and you get an opportunity to put those into action. And like you said, Coach is the best. He allowed me to do a lot offensively, stay within, I stayed within our system, but, at timeouts or end of games, trying to figure out how people would guard us, what they did, what their weaknesses were, how to attack those, and really come up with, a specific play or a game plan to, help us be as effective as we could. And seeing everything, like, it took a little bit of time. I admit coming back to college was different. And I had to figure out, small things offensively about spacing, about cutting, about movement. And once, we kind of got that down, once I got a chance to get a little more comfortable in it, then I think, we really kind of tried to take off and had some success. So, when you prepare, nobody has a LeBron James. Nobody has a Steph Curry. But when you, play against people like that and you prepare for them and you have to figure it out, you can try and tweak things and make it fit your team the best you can. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to put our guys in the right spot to be successful.
Micah Shrewsberry, the head basketball coach of the Nittany Lions. Pat Leon in the final half hour. Great to have you with us as we continue. Brought to you by Purdy Insurance on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Hi, this is Season from Purdy Insurance. As the days get warmer, our attention turns to home improvements and even starting a new business. Remember, you can't expect the unexpected. Protect yourself, your family, your business with insurance from Purdy Insurance. We're independent and local, and we'll find the right insurance to fit your needs. Give Purdy Insurance a call at 570-286-5855. Send us an email or go to our website at purdyinsurance.com to see what we can do for you.
6-0 run. 9-3 stretch. Smith up high, yes!
How about that kid? He can seize the moment.
Jim Nance, Bill Raftery, I'm going to guess that was Mike Smith's drive to the bucket by Michigan, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah. He's been terrific. It's interesting because he's had to change his game because when he played against Penn State when he was at Columbia, he was really a scorer. I mean, he was a 20-point-a-game guy when he was at Columbia. He had to be. Now, with Michigan, he is the distributor. And he's done a fabulous job in that role while still having the ability to score. That is, and that's big. But he was a scorer when he was at Columbia. That's why, I watch these games. I don't think the vast majority of people watch these games and have no idea that some of the people that have come through and played games in the Jordan Center. And I'm watching Oregon last night. There's Eric Williams out there for Oregon. He played against Penn State at Duquesne. Eugene Omaruri, he played against Penn State when he was at Rutgers. I mean, I'm watching all the Alabama guys. They came in here last year, and I talked about the late Oscar Freyer last week. He, as I said, Brad Nessler, he did his last game. I did his second game. His first ever double-figure game was in the Jordan Center. But, yeah, there are a lot, because of transfers. There are guys all over the place that played here. Matt Leon, next half hour, we're going to get into the Eagles trade. Now they're drafting 12. Expect Matt to echo our Matt. The lack of confidence in the organization that they can do something with this.
In the draft, yes, but maybe I can play this a little later if you want. I have the audio of Dan Orlovsky's thoughts on what the Eagles could do now in terms of maybe trying to test the waters with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Really?
Would you like to hear what he had to say?
Sure, this will be very entertaining.
Well, Dan Orlovsky, I feel like they did what you were recommending last week that they do, which is give Hurts a shot for the season. Sure. They bring in a seasoned backup in Joe Flacco, who, he figures to play that role nicely. And now they trade back out of 6. They start stockpiling picks, and they start rebuilding the team. That was verbatim what you said last week you thought they should do.
Yeah, 100%, Greeny. But I also think what transpired Friday puts them into the Russell Wilson conversation for the now and the future. Okay, this is a bad football team, so I like the fact that they're not making panic decisions. But the reality is they now have a young quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and probably 4 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons, this year and next year. So and we know that they've sniffed around Deshaun Watson. If you have sniffed around Deshaun Watson, you for sure better be sniffing around Russell Wilson. And now this at least gives Philadelphia 2 options. They can, 1, figure out what they have in Jalen Hurts. I've said that for weeks now. Or 2, they can go, we've got Jalen Hurts to Seattle. And you can take our 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years and give us Russell Wilson if he's willing to come to our organization.
It's inventive. Russell Wilson can approve trades. He's not approving a trade to come to Philadelphia.
That is my thought. But it's worth a try, but I don't think he would come here. Because the Eagles have very similar issues to Seattle.
Worse.
Yes, if not worse, for the offensive line right now. Yeah.
He thought he was running for his life in Seattle. Whew. If I were him, I'd hit the treadmill because if he's coming to Philadelphia, he's going to be sprinting on every play. Today's show brought to you by Purdy Insurance.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
All right. Today's show brought to you by Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. How about this lineup? Auto, home, life, business. They'll save you money wherever they can. Bundles. And they'll always update because they are the pros when it comes to insurance. Great people, too. It's all Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. We are in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. Great time to deal, too. By the way, golf reopened today in England after months of closures. After various waves of COVID-19 lockdowns, thousands of players couldn't wait to get their push carts back onto the fairways. This is all part of the United Kingdom's rule of 6, in which 6 people from 2 different households can meet in public with several outdoor sports allowed to continue. The rules are just being eased now as part of the first stage in planned reopenings. Golf in Scotland, by the way, has remained open since May of last year. Golf is slated to reopen in Northern Ireland Thursday. Golf in the Republic of Ireland remains closed until further notice. British Open is still scheduled for July 15th to the 18th at Royal St. George's in Sandwich, which is in Kent, England. All right. Now, don't set up that trip to go overseas and play golf just yet. They're not accepting you. We found that out because we tried to ship you-know-who out of the country. All right, so I thought it was a worthy attempt. I really did. Let's bring in Matt Leon from Philadelphia. Hello, sir.
Good to be with you.
All right, so the Eagles go from 6 to 12, but they pick up another number 1 along the way. They have 3 first-round draft picks. What was your thought on the deal?
I was surprised. I think just based on quality of what you got back, I think it's a good trade. But the caveat, and you mentioned 3 first-round picks next year, I don't trust the people making the selection. So I think it's a good deal on its face. Yes, you would get an elite pick at 6, almost can't miss. More chance for a miss at 12, but this is a team that needs a lot of talent. So having multiple first-rounders the following year could be incredibly beneficial. But as I mentioned, this is a team that's drafted terribly for the last 4, 5, 6 years. So not a lot of confidence that regardless of how good a trade is, the return on investment won't be up to par.
Are you surprised? Let's see. Joe Judge from the Giants came here. Mike Tomlin from the Steelers came here. The Eagles sent a scout, but Nick Sirianni didn't come here. Are you surprised he didn't come up here for Pro Day last Thursday? I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to. I'm asking if you're surprised.
Yeah, and it's hard to say how different teams are handling stuff like that, especially still in the midst of a pandemic. Certain teams might have protocol, stuff like that. So me personally, I don't read too much into that, what it means, who they like, they don't like, or if I'm necessarily surprised.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, just because it's a relatively short trip.
And also, we don't know, with Sirianni, we don't know how he handles. We don't have a body of work to judge it against. So,
right, and it's, look, and he's not the guy making the pick. So,
yeah, exactly.
Has your thought changed on what the Eagles might do with the pick because it's 12 instead of 6?
I personally think it needs to be best player available. Me personally, with the exception of quarterback, I think it's very possible they go quarterback. But, you look at this roster, and we've talked about this, they've got maybe 4 or 5 guys, below the age of 30 that you really point to and say those guys are pieces we can build around. So I'm taking whoever's the highest rated player, almost regardless of the position. I personally would put quarterback, though. I'm not going out of my way to take a quarterback there. I'm not taking because I really want to see what Jalen Hurts can do. And right, wrong, or indifferent, they just brought in Joe Flacco. And I can't imagine that they bring Joe Flacco in to be a number 3. I can't imagine Joe Flacco would come here if there was any thought he was going to be the number 3. So if they were to take a quarterback at 12, that would mean that once again they're taking a high pick on a guy who, if all goes well, should not contribute right away. And they desperately need people to contribute right away.
The way this draft seems to potentially be playing out, there may not be a quarterback at 12.
Yeah, no, it's very possible, and it probably might save them from themselves. So, yeah, they need impact people. They need impact players. So, it really doesn't matter to me what position the guy plays. Whoever has the highest grade that's on the board, I'm taking them.
All right. So let me bring this into play. You look at mock drafts. Mock drafts, as you and I know, mean nothing. But this is what the value of a mock draft is. You click onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the value of the mock draft. You click onto it. But I saw one where they're talking about Micah Parsons. Could Micah Parsons fit what they want to do?
Oh, I think, yeah, absolutely. I think they're really kind of an open book right now. Now they've new defensive coordinator. That's going to change the scheme. Not that familiar with what this guy's going to want to do. So, but once again, if Micah Parsons is the highest, I'm taking him. I'm taking the guy that can make the impact right away. They need people they can plug in that can play day one. No more getting cute. No more we project this guy. No more we're a quarterback factory. We need players that can play right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get to the Sixers. Sixers made the deal to get George Hill. George Hill, to his credit, has more jerseys in his closet than they have at the Naismith Hall of Fame. But, okay, what did you think about the deal getting George Hill as another piece to the puzzle?
Oh, I think it's a great ball handler, guy that can quarterback the second unit. I think really what they needed. I know there's a lot of Kyle Lowry talk, and Kyle Lowry, great player, obviously on the downside. If what they were talking about they'd have to give up, I think the Sixers made the right move not jumping at that. I know when you got a chance to win, you have to sometimes mortgage the future, but I thought it was absurd what the Raptors reportedly wanted. So I think it's a nice pickup. It lengthens the bench. Once they get Embiid back, and I was just reading, it sounds like in a couple of games they're hoping to have Joel Embiid back. They're going to be a tough out, and I think adding George Hill just makes them tougher.
And they're not going to get Hill right away either, because Hill hurt his thumb back in January. Yeah, but he's close. But he's close.
Yeah, and it sounds like, if I read the article correctly, Doc Rivers is kind of expecting. I think he said we should have our regular rotation in a couple of games. So it sounds like him and Embiid might be on the same timeline.
I think they're the favorite in the East. And I think,
I agree.
And based on what's happening in Los Angeles, I think the West now becomes an open book.
Yeah. No, it's very much there for them. Very much there for them. And I think it's very much there for them the way they were constructed. I mean, Kyle Lowry would have been nice, but I would be very surprised if when this is all over, we look back and go, man, if they'd only gotten Kyle Lowry, they would have gotten over the hump. I don't think that will be. If they don't win, that would be the reason. So, it's all going to come down to is Embiid healthy, I think. If they can get him out there in the playoffs 35 minutes a game at the level he's playing at this year, they're really, really tough.
Yeah, let's talk about really, really tough. Villanova is obviously a tough out for Baylor. Here's the oddity. It's the first time all season Villanova lost a game when leading at halftime.
Yeah, and you could watch that, and the first couple minutes of the second half, I had a bad feeling because Baylor really came out, got a couple of easy baskets, and
downhill.
You could really start to feel it turn. But this, I say this knowing full well that he's won 2 national championships. Very well may have been Jay Wright's best coaching job when you look at what they had to overcome. Remember injury-wise, and also remember they were shut down for close to a month.
I know.
From like Christmas to the end of January. That's a long time. Even I know other teams have faced challenge, but to overcome the injuries they overcome to get to the Sweet 16 and lead one of the number 1 seeds at the half, that's really impressive.
It's interesting that it is easy when a team wins. Oh, what a great coaching job. Mm-hmm. You and I both know because we're around it every day that sometimes the best coaching jobs are sometimes done where the record isn't as great or the advancement in the tournament isn't as long.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I think Jay did something special this year.
I think so, too. Always great to have you with us, sir. Always a pleasure. Opening day for the Phillies. Do they break 90 wins?
Right around there. I don't know if I say break 90, but I think they're in contention for a wild card.
Yeah, because that's my 2-year total for the Pirates. All right, so thanks so much.
Thank you.
The Pirates might be a little better than that.
You're not pushing it.
Man.
Honestly, you're not.
I mean, they're almost like they're trying to lose.
Yeah, it's embarrassing on the western side of the state.
It's not like they are completely devoid of talent. Like, Ke'Bryan Hayes is a really fabulous prospect. Reynolds kid can bounce back. He's a good player. Newman's not bad. He's a good major league player. Let's see. Oh, Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier is...
Yeah, but he'll be dealt at the deadline probably. So you see him the first half of the year.
I agree with that. No, he's a candidate for that. Then they'll get prospects in return. They'll tell us how great the prospects are, and the prospects will then go into the witness protection program, never to be seen again. It happens over and over and over and over.
Or they'll get good, then the team will get cheap again and send them off and start the whole process again. Either way.
No, I mean, that's what really strikes me about these trades. We got prospects, and the vast majority never pan out. That's why you made the deal? I rolled the dice, and I got prospects, and I'm looking around saying, okay, where are they now? And nobody knows. We even have somebody on staff to track the guy. Still don't know where he is. All right, we'll come back with more in a moment. Great to have you with us today. Brought to you by Purdy Insurance on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Actually, put that number on a Post-it note on the suit's desk. All right, what? Just trying to help. Great to have you with us on the show today. So the NCAA tournament resumes tonight. Is the opportunity to get to the Final Four tonight. 2 winners will do just that. They will get to the Final Four this evening. Houston is playing in one matchup against Oregon State. First team to 60 wins. And then the other one is that Baylor, Arkansas tonight?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Arkansas is funny.
No good! No good! No good!
Da. Doug's enunciation is outstanding.
F-O-U-L-E-D, that spells Fouda.
One of these days I'm going to have him doing one. S-U-I-T. Spells Suta.
Yes, we need him to do that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And that will be a constant recurring theme over and over again. Did you see the forecast for this week? They're talking about some snow showers coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, this is a weird week. Yeah, 65 tomorrow, then we go back to snow, and then we slowly kind of get back up.
April Fool's Day, man.
Totally.
What the heck? That is bizarro world. Wow.
It's stupid.
It's the weather. It's almost like the climate changes every day. Maybe we should call it something. What should we call it? How about climate change? No, climate changes every day. The climate changes every day. Oh, don't make fun of it. No, it's my show. It's going to be 65 tomorrow and 25 for a low on Thursday. It seems to me like it's changing. In fact, Friday's going to be 28 for a low, 25 for a low on Thursday. My goodness. And we finally get back into the mid-60s next week. Yeah, that's a good thing. Looks like Easter's 63, Monday 64, 63 Tuesday, 64 Wednesday, 104 on Thursday. That's kind of dramatic. Oh, wait a minute. That's the forecast for Dubai. Sorry.
So just a bit outside.
I mean, when I'm getting something that says wintercast, snowfall expected late Wednesday, it's all like, what? What are we doing here? Bizarre. Oh, well. So, there you are. Right. So those games are tonight. Arkansas, can they beat Baylor? Yeah. They just can't fall behind by double digits. If they fall behind double digits to Baylor, it's not the equivalent of falling behind double digits to Oral Roberts. Because, Baylor brings 3 outstanding three-point shooters to the table. But Baylor also showed me something the other day. When the three-pointers weren't falling, they changed tactics and played downhill basketball. And they got themselves back into the game doing that. Impressive. And the other game tonight, I think points are at a premium. Houston is not a good offensive team. And but you're saying, well, they're not a good offensive team. Why do they win a lot of games? They're a terrific defensive team. So that's why I think points are going to be at a premium tonight. And for Oregon State, that's been one of their keys getting to this point. Let's be honest about it. most of the games in this tournament have not featured great offense. I thought eventually Michigan played some great offense yesterday. Gonzaga has played great offense the entire time. You realize Gonzaga has won 26 straight games by double digits?
And that was a definition of a clinic over the weekend.
Played great.
They couldn't miss. It was unbelievable.
Played great. They are willing passers, and they have great options. Those willing passers to choose. Kitzbert's fabulous. Suggs is really good. Drew Timme, who had a whale of a game over the weekend. They're just playing great. And when people start talking about their conference schedule, it is true. But keep in mind that Mark Few understands what his conference schedule is. That's why his non-conference schedule, look at the teams they played in the non-conference schedule. And they had one of them canceled. They were actually supposed to play Baylor during the regular season. It got canceled because of COVID. But you look at the lineup of teams they played in the non-con. Whoa. And he does that. He'll play other people in the non-con because, look, you got to be smart. You look around and say, guess what? I may know St. Mary's is pretty good. I may know BYU is pretty good. But the rest of the country doesn't know it. It's one of those, I feel like I'm picking on Indiana, but it's one of those like, hey, you beat Indiana 88-70. It's a good win for you. You beat BYU 88-70. It's like, you're expected to beat BYU. And BYU is a lot better than Indiana. It's just, the way it is. Brand names, they mean something.
Well, IU's getting one of their brethren back.
He is a very good coach. But he's going to have people on there that can really recruit because he has never recruited in his career. Doesn't mean he can't. But he never has. Can he coach? Yes. But in this sport, it's a lot about the Jimmies and the Joes and not just the X's and O's. When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you. The other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.